car, that extra gear, the first 3 steps.
Huge strides in the performance.
That I might not be the player I am today.
All right, welcome to another episode of Behind the Gear.
Team.
And here we got Brett Seney and Colton White, both property of New Jersey Devils, who are quarantining, social distancing. Hey, boys, how's social distancing going for you, Brett? How you enjoying not being able to see friends and like people walking around right now that it's springtime in London, Ontario?
It's been tough. Trying to get as much as I can. Been going for runs and that sort of thing, but no, it's tough not seeing the boys and obviously the guys in Binghamton in New Jersey. But I love my family, but you can only spend so much time with them in a row.
Yeah, no doubt. Where are you right now, though? You at home with your parents in London?
Yeah, I'm just at my parents' place. Joe's actually home too, so been hanging out with him quite a bit. But yeah, I just kind of took over the basement, and they're doing their thing, and both parents are still working. Obviously, Joe's working; she's from home, so I'm kind of a lazy guy right now, just working out every now and then. But we'll probably get the least going on of all of us.
Yeah, so you're basically back in grade 12, both you and your brother, just grade 12, playing video games, hanging out in the basement.
Yeah, that's right.
And Cole, so what about you? Where are you at, Whitey? You're at home, I'm assuming?
Yeah, no, I'm still at home. Me and my brother just hanging out. My parents are still working, and so is my brother. Yeah, they're keeping busy. I'm the lazy one at the house as well, as Brett said, and then just trying to go to the grocery store as little as possible and just sort of stock up there, so my parents don't have to do it if they're busy in that. And then just working out. Mitch has been sending us some workouts and stuff, and I've recently been doing Zach's mobility program. He's got an 8-week thing where he does a virtual assessment with you, sort of on Zoom or Skype, and then gives you a couple exercises that you do throughout the week and stuff, and then he assesses you in 4 weeks, and then you sort of build off from there. So just doing that stuff to keep busy and try to have some normalcy with regards to a routine and that, but just missing the guys too. I went from seeing Brett every day of the year, living with him and that, so it sucks that way. Your buddies all year, and then I'm not able to go hang out with them or just play video games beside them, that sort of stuff. So miss some of the boys for sure.
No, for sure, especially the fact that you and Seney had a 1-bedroom apartment with a king size beds. Kind of that sucks too. You don't get to crash every night together and hang out, right?
No sleepovers.
Yeah, exactly. On those stormy nights when you're scared. I get it. How was bingo this year though? How, I know it was a bit, maybe a bit of a tougher year as far as, wins and losses and stuff, but Brett, how was the year for you overall as far as, a couple years pro now for you, and how was it going in this year and kind of, having a year and kind of having your feet wet already by playing, a couple years already and now getting back into it? What was that all like?
Yeah, first year was obviously, a big learning experience, and took a lot away from it that I tried to use this year. And, we actually, kind of halfway through the year, our team in general kind of took a turning point. And, I think, Whitey, I don't know if you know the numbers, but I think we were 27-7 to kind of our last little stretch there. So, so we actually kind of finished in a playoff spot, which was cool. Kind of years past on Merrimack, and then my first year pro, I've been kind of a loser for those 5 years. So it was nice. It was nice kind of being a winner again and getting some wins. And then just me personally, didn't play as many games as in the NHL, but in the AHL, put up some good numbers, and winning's a lot of fun too. So obviously that made it better, and then living with Whitey, he was a great roommate, and we got along well. So at the rink with me, it was all in all a great year.
Oh, it's awesome, man. It is so important though to have a good roommate. I was lucky when I played. I had some really good roommates that it does make it so much better, because when you are down maybe you had a bad game or a bad week, or you're not getting called up, or things are going bad. It's compounded when you go home and you have a bad roommate or someone that you don't get along with, or someone that's a dirty slob. You're just like, man, this can't get any worse, So it's nice to have a good guy to live with for sure, man.
Mm-hmm.
And what about you, Whitey?
I don't want to say like the guys the year before were brutal, but Whitey was awesome.
You do. Yeah, you do. That's okay. Good cover there, scenes. Nice cover up. I like that a lot. That was good. And what about you, Whitey? What about you, Whitey? How was your second year pro and kind of coming back?
My third year, actually.
Sorry, your third year. That's right. Man, you're getting old, eh? Holy jeez.
Yeah. No, I think it was good. I think each year you learn something different. Like every year there's something to take away from the year. My first year it was just sort of getting my feet wet and just sort of learning like how to be a pro, and as cliche as it is, but you have to like seriously learn what it takes to be a full-time AHL. Or like I was in the coast for a bit and sort of didn't find my way in the AHL. Then my second year I was like a full-time AHLer and was lucky enough to play some power play in that and get some points, and then eventually got called up and sort of had a role my second year. And then this year I sort of struggled with regards to like putting up points and stuff, and that's not like entirely my game. So it's sort of a mental thing for me. I was like playing good, but I wasn't getting points. So I was getting frustrated with that. And then I got called up and I was like, oh, like maybe I'm doing something right. And then I got sent down. It was just for like a little road trip, just as a spare. And then I think when I got sent down, it just sort of like settled me in and just sort of focused on playing my game and not worrying about numbers as much. And I think I kept doing that, and I got called up again, didn't play. And it was just for like another insurance policy, just in case somebody else got hurt. And then kept playing, and then sort of around the trade deadline, I was up for a couple of games. I think I played 6. So this year was just sort of like learning that you're playing good sometimes, and as a D-man, you're not always getting the points, or playing the power play, you might get taken off it for some reason if you're not producing, that sort of thing. So I learned that way. But overall, it was a good year. I learned a lot. I took a lot of pride in my like defensive zone this year, and I think I got a lot better at that as opposed to last year. I was sort of more focused on the offensive side of the game. But yeah, all in all, it was a great year. The team really turned it around probably around Christmas time. We sort of just said fuck it kind of thing and just started playing like a lot better hockey. We went on like a 10-game win streak at one point, then lost 2 games and went on like 2 separate 8-game heaters there. Then besides that, I think like it was a blast living with your best friend. Like, I mean, not many people can do that, especially like being from London and then playing pro on the same team. Yeah, it was all in all, it was a great year, and it sucks it was like abruptly stopped and we couldn't like carry it into the playoffs, because I think at the end of like when it ended there on March 12th or whatever it was, we were like locked in at number 4 and we were on a win streak then. So we were just going up from there, it seemed like.
Oh, that's cool. It is unreal when you're part of a team that does go on a bit of a heater, right? Even if you had like a sluggish start at the start of the year, and then all of a sudden you turn around for 7 or 10 games, like you said, it's unbelievable to be a part of that. And the boys kind of gravitate together. Everything's better when you're winning, obviously. So you start putting together a little bit of a win streak. The boys are getting fired up, and it's fun to have kind of a run like that for sure. But one thing that you mentioned there that I think is really important to touch on, I think a lot of guys playing minor pro hockey, I should say, like in the East Coast League or the AHL, looking to get called up. They're under contract. They think, I got to get points. I got to produce. I got to play on all the special teams. And I think the big thing, that came out from you, and I think for you as well, Brett, is sometimes it's not necessarily the goals, the assists they're looking for. And you guys have been in the room before where Johnny Smith gets called up, and you're like, how is that guy getting called up right now? And then you look back on it, maybe you're like, okay, they needed a grinder, or okay, they needed a guy that could play the middle on the power play, or, so for you guys, it's more so just, I think, sticking with it and then, buying into what type of player you are and being the best at that, that you can be, right? And for Brett, kind of a question for you. I know last year, you got quite a few games up, which was awesome. You had a good stint up there to kind of get your feet wet and comfortable at the NHL level. This year, maybe not as many games. What was it like for you kind of going through that, getting called up for a good stint last year, this year, not quite the way you wanted it to go? Mentally, we always say, oh, you guys got the best job, you play pro hockey, but man, it's a grind mentally. Like you go through a lot of ups and downs through a season. You see buddies get called up, buddies get sent down. And, for you going through that, what was it like for you kind of maybe not getting that call up for that long period this year, opposed to what you did last year?
Yeah. Obviously after my first year, and I talked about this last summer, I wanted to kind of go in and make the team at a training camp and just kind of solidify my spot in the NHL. And, but, when you're a losing team the year before, the team's looking to make changes. And, when you're a bottom six guy, it usually kind of falls upon those guys that, some of the blame gets put on, for maybe not helping getting wins. But I just tried to, focus on it personally. And, I thought I had a good training camp, but, I was kind of one of the last cuts again. And it was just kind of one of those things where, you got to go down. You can't really think about it. Obviously, you want to be in the NHL, but the AHL is nothing to laugh at by any means. It's, in some ways, it's a lot harder than the NHL. And there's a lot more opportunities for me there to play, a lot of minutes and, get a lot of opportunity that I wouldn't necessarily get at the NHL level and in terms of special teams and that sort of thing. And then of course there's areas of my game that I needed to improve upon that, to be a full-time NHL guy, you need to have a full game, not just one dimensional. And, but yeah, like you said, it's tough when guys are getting called up and, and maybe you're not getting the calls that you want, but I'm not the type of guy, like I'm not going to be jealous or, at the end of the day, these guys are all my friends and my teammates. And when one of them gets called up, it's, I'm pumped up for them. And, in a sense, I'm upset that maybe I'm not the guy, but like me complaining or bashing the guy behind his back isn't going to help me. And that's not going to help them. So, that's something that a lot of guys, it makes it great about Binghamton is we don't really have any of those guys that are, chewing guys out behind their back if they're getting called up. So yeah, it's just kind of about, focusing on what you can do and areas of your game that you can improve upon and, just kind of taking it, one game at a time. And like I said, you just got to solidify your role at some point.
Oh, totally. And I think, that's part of being a true professional, I believe. Like, and that can happen in minor hockey where you're just a good team guy. You're a bit of a pro. Yeah. Obviously it's going to burn you a little bit when even guys in other organizations are getting call ups. You're like, man, I'm better than that kid. But I think it's a true pro that when you can say, hey, good job, or hey, congrats, and kind of bury a little bit of those feelings that we all have. We're all competitive. We all want to be the guy that gets called up, but it is a testament to kind of the character that obviously both you and Whitey have, but it's a hard game, man. There's a lot of different moving parts. There's a lot of different decisions that are made, and it doesn't always go your way, and you got to battle through that and persevere, and obviously you're going to get hopefully some good opportunities come out of that down the road. You know what I mean? And Whitey, for you, I know we talked a little bit about it last year when you got your first call up, and it was like kind of surreal. You're sitting on the plane, you're like pinching yourself. Yeah. Is this real? What was it like this year going back? Like, again, and kind of getting that opportunity again, getting some games in. Obviously, was it a little bit more unnerving, or was it just kind of still the same? Like pretty nervous, pretty just kind of trying to be wallpaper a bit, not trying to mess up anybody's routines, trying to stay out of people's way. Like, what was it like for you?
Yeah, the first time this year I got called up, I was like probably the same level of nervousness. I was like, this is the NHL. It's the coolest league in the world. Like, obviously nervous. And then each time I got called up, I think like just my comfortability level with the guys and stuff. I got to know some of them like pretty closely, and just sitting like with some of the guys on the plane and getting to know them that way. And going out with them, we got to go out in Nashville one night. So I think anytime you can do stuff like that and sort of get to know guys outside of the rink, I think it helps with just getting to know people and like being comfortable around them. You can be yourself the more you get to be around them too. So by the last time I got called up and I was starting to play, I think I was like comfortable and could just sort of like, it's hard to just go in there and be yourself right away. But I think you have to in regards to like being successful and having that confidence, just to like let loose and just be yourself. But at the same time, you also got to act professional. You're a young guy. You got to like not pay your dues, but in a sense, you just got to sort of watch and sort of take in everything, and learn that way and not say too much. But sort of talk when spoken to sort of thing.
Yeah.
But you have a little circle, I think, whatever team you play on, those guys you can sort of just be yourself around, and I think that helped. The guys in New Jersey are really great, just like in bingo. They're really helpful when I was there. And actually, I got to bring my dad on the dad trip this year. So
no way,
I was
that's
lucky
awesome.
enough to be up there for. I was lucky enough to be up there for that. So that was something I'll never forget. So.
And what were your dad's comments like after the trip? Was it what he kind of expected? Was he kind of blown away? Was he like, what was his, what were his comments after that?
The comment, like in general amongst all the dads, is like how much food there is, and just like all the buffets and stuff, that sort of thing. And then just how everything worked, the day-to-day life, going on the road, flying, morning skate, shut down for a nap, and then get back at it, and then fly back. And he sort of didn't really understand the travel too much, of like how we get in really late, and then how we got to say practice the next day or take tomorrow off and then get to the rink, that sort of thing. So I think it was just neat for him to be around all the other dads and sort of have that shared experience with them, and sort of get sort of some knowledge from them on how their kids grew up and that sort of thing. And just enjoy the moment. I think he had a blast. It was probably an experience of a lifetime, obviously, and something we'll both never forget, and we can both share that experience. It was lucky how it happened. It was crazy.
That's awesome, man. That's super cool. So he was wearing a white jersey up in the box. He had your name and number on the back of his shirt, or what?
So the Devils didn't do that. They got like black like pea coats with the Devils logo on it. So,
that's kind of cool.
Like,
that's cool.
Yeah, they're all looking like scouts in the stands, and they're not scouts. They're just dads.
Their dad's getting liquored.
Yeah.
You were saying like your first time going out at the NHL level, meaning, let's say you fly into a city. All right, boys, we're going to meet down in the lobby at 5:00. We'll go for dinner, go for beers. And I'll start off with Brett, then I'll come back to you, Whitey. But so Brett, the first time you ever had that experience where like, hey boys, we're going to go out tonight after the game, or we're landing in this city, we're going to go out as a group. Now you go out with your buddies in London. There's a level of how you're going to go out. You're comfortable with your boys. That's a night, right? Now, if you're going out your first time ever with a bunch of NHL guys, what's that level at? So 10 being like, we're going hard with my boys, my buddies. And then 1 being like, you're going to church. Where are you sitting at the first time you ever go out with a group of NHL guys for dinner and like drinks and stuff?
I think the first would have been my first year. It was pretty early on when I got called up. We went on the West Coast, so we were in Anaheim and San Jose and LA, and I think we had a day off and then a practice the next day. So I went out with a couple guys for breakfast when we were in Anaheim, and I had no idea that it was going to be like a full go night that night. So I didn't know what I was kind of getting myself into, and some of the older guys kind of asked me if I want to go for breakfast, and we ended up going down kind of near Laguna Beach, and all of a sudden, next thing I know, everyone's bringing out mimosas, and it's like 10 a.m. and I'm like, I don't have anything in my stomach even. We're like just polishing mimosas. I'm like, oh man, this is what we're doing today, I guess. So that was kind of the first kind of experience I had with it. Like what you said, you're being yourself, but you kind of gotta like, you don't want to go too hard. You don't want to give the guys like a bad idea that you're a booze hound or something. So, well, I tried to keep it under control as much as I could, but yeah, we ended up going to a nice steak dinner that night, and then we all went down to the beach again. And I was kind of the new kind of young guy, so I was getting a lot of drinks kind of handed to me, and I didn't want to disappoint. So it was a good thing I went to college. I kind of, was prepared for that, I guess, in a sense. But yeah, no, that was definitely something I've never experienced before. And in terms of, unlimited everything and whatever you want, and the boys kind of take care of it. So now it's pretty sweet.
That's cool, man. That's awesome. And what about you, Whitey? Like you said, kind of Nashville, you guys went out. So was it kind of were you quite aware of just, I don't want to overdo this, I don't want to puke or pass out at the bar, or like be the guy who's got to go home at 8:00? Was it kind of just watching out a little bit?
Yeah, so I think the next day after the night, after the game, all the guys were rallying to go out. we lost actually in Nashville. So,
Ouch.
and like all the boys are planning to meet in the lobby at like 11 or so. We're all in the lobby and the coaching staff just walks by, like, and we're like, oh, fuck. And I'm like panicking.
Yeah.
I've never like done that before where the coaches are walking by and I'm sitting in the lobby, and then they just kept walking. So I was like, all right, whatever. And then, yeah, I think, there's a large difference when you're going out and running with like Seney and Gaber and Murph and we're texting you guys halfway through the night. As opposed to going out in Nashville with the NHL guys. Yeah, you're just sort of like taking it all in. You're not going too hard, but you're still like having a good time. You're just sort of taking what's coming to you. But yeah, no, it wasn't too rowdy. We had a fight the next day, like pretty early. So yeah, no, I don't remember too much, but it was a good time for sure.
That's awesome, man. That's cool. And I'll start off with you again, Brett, going back to, but when you got called up, even last year, this year, was there anybody up there that you probably watched play, you knew that they were in the organization, maybe you played against, maybe they're older and you kind of watched them at the NHL level when you were a little bit younger, but was there anybody that, or a couple of guys that kind of impressed you when you got there and were maybe different than what you thought? Maybe the way they played, the brand that they played, the style they played was, once you got to know them, you're like, oh man, this guy's actually like, what an awesome dude, or, someone that kind of mentored you a little bit, or, different people that kind of were different than what you thought they were on the ice.
I wouldn't say there's anyone on the team that I maybe grew up watching. I think maybe the older guys would have been Zajac and Andy Green, but I didn't really follow the New Jersey too much kind of growing up as a kid. I was more of a, Leafs and Sabres, kind of that sort of area. Just followed mostly those players, but and also kind of being a college guy, I didn't really get to know guys too much in training camp. My first year was my first training camp too. So I didn't know the guys too well. But kind of one of the guys I got to know really well, who actually was kind of intimidating to me at first, my first training camp, is Blake Colton. He's kind of like an intimidating guy. He's a bigger guy, and he had some missing teeth at the time, and I had never talked to him before, and the way he plays, he's a grinder. He likes to get in there and mix it up too. So I remember the first couple practices, we had some drills against each other, and he was like just laying me out and stuff. But off the ice, I got to know him. He was like the nicest, sweetest guy, and he ended up, letting me live with him for the kind of the second half of the year with him and his wife too. So,
oh, cool.
So yeah, that was probably the one relationship maybe I took away from it, that, kind of getting to know a guy and, kind of maybe the cover of the, what's that saying? You know what I mean? With, the cover that you don't judge a book by its cover.
Yeah. You got it. You nailed it. College guy.
I'm fucking through with the sayings, but, but yeah, that'd probably be one that, for my first year that I kind of picked out is, with Coleman there. That's
awesome, man. What about you, Whitey? Anybody that was different than what you thought, or that kind of took you under the wing, or anyone that kind of like impressed you that was, I know there's a lot of guys up there, and obviously there's a lot of different ways guys impress you, both of you coming in as young guys, but anyone that kind of sticks out for you?
I'd have to say Damon Severson, just because I remember him from my first development camp. It was just after his first NHL season, and he played as like a 20 or 19 or 20-year-old. Just how much he's like grown over the last couple of years, just because I've been able to watch him sort of like throughout the years, just through training camp, and then just watching the Devils play when I like was in junior still, or even in bingo the first 2 years, and then just getting called up last year and this year, just how consistent he is. Like the last 2 years, he's just really progressed, I think, in the sense of how like fluid he is as a skater and just a good puck mover and quarterback in the power play too. He plays in all situations, and I try to do that too. And that's sort of my role in Binghamton, is to play in all situations, so I can sort of learn stuff from him. He'd always talk to me during practices and stuff. And then another guy too, off the ice and on the ice too, that I'd like work with was Connor Carrick. He's one of the guys I really liked. Just a joy to be around, easy to talk to. Just someone you're like comfortable around right away. He makes you feel comfortable. He includes you in like dinners if you don't have anyone to go with. And even if you're not playing, he's playing, or vice versa, he's always like a positive guy you can lean on for advice or somebody to talk to. And then I think the last guy I like, he was in bingo and Jersey, was Matt Tennyson. He's older. He's like 29. And we played against him he was on Rochester for a few years and Buffalo as well. And I think we were D partners in Jersey for a game or for practice. I forget what it was. And then in bingo, we played together like pretty frequently. And I think just like how polished he is in his all around game. He's really defensive, but he can really skate, good puck mover and like good shot, and just a good all around player. And just how he carries himself. He comes to the rink and sort of just focused on like what he has to do. He really like sort of took me under his wing the last half of the year. We were talking more at the start of the year. I was like kind of like nervous just because I like sort of watched him and like knew how many NHL games he's played. So I was like, oh, I'm paired with him. Like I got to be on my best, got to be on my toes, sort of thing. And by the end of the year, I was really comfortable with him. He taught me a lot too. So, but probably those three guys I'd say were guys I've watched and just have helped me in different ways.
Oh, that's cool. I got to know Connor a little bit in Washington because he was there for quite a few years, and I got to know him through development camps and stuff like that. And he's a great.
Yeah, he's pretty funny.
He's hilarious, like good guy. Like he loves his look though. His look has to be like dialed, or he's just can't skate. He can't even skate. If he doesn't do his skates up 17 times, he can't go. Can't go.
Yeah, his tape job has to be perfect. Yeah. He's great.
That's what I love about like when you get to know guys like behind the scenes a little bit. You see like the little, like you have other guys that don't care what they look like. They'll just jump on the ice like floppy tongues, bad laces. They don't care. Tape jobs all chewed up, whatever.
Yeah.
And then you got guys like him on the other side of it, just dialed in on their look and their skates. And it's funny. Yeah.
About everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But he's awesome, man. He's a guy who wanted to get better, worked hard at it. And now it's nice to see he's kind of found a bit of a home and getting some games and playing, obviously regular, which is good. So, it's been, it's been fun. It's fun to watch kind of those kind of guys for sure, man. Quickly though, going through what we're going through right now, obviously this is crazy and never happened before, and hopefully it never happens again. But when you guys kind of got the news, I know you guys are right in the middle of the season. I happened to be down in Hershey actually when this whole thing happened, so it happened so fast, right? You guys, I mean, we went from practicing to like getting to the rink, getting on the ice, practice. After that, we were done. Everyone like go home, don't come back to the rink, and kind of shut down. What was your schedule when this whole thing happened? It was midweek. I think it was a Wednesday, and then Thursday maybe. And Wednesday, I think the NBA shut down, and I think that was it. After that, like that afternoon, everything kind of snowballed. But where were you guys? Were you guys in bingo at the time? Were you guys at practice? And kind of where were you guys when you guys found out the news?
We were actually in Laval. We had just we finished the game in Rochester, and that's when kind of the news came about the NBA kind of closing down with that player testing positive and everything. So we weren't really sure kind of what was going on when we ended up leaving Rochester, and then kind of bust through the night to Laval. We got in pretty late at like maybe 3-4 a.m. and then so we were just kind of on hiatus for the entire day. We had a practice schedule in the afternoon in Laval there, and they ended up canceling that. And then we were supposed to have like some bullshit stretch for like 20 minutes just to kind of keep us moving. And like all the guys are like, man, like what are you talking about? Like teams are already sending their guys home, and of course Bingo's got us doing a 20-minute stretch at the rink. I mean, Laval's like, yeah, our practice got canceled and everything. So, yeah, it was kind of wild. We were just kind of sitting around waiting to hear the news. And then, yeah, they pretty much told us that, that the season was postponed, that we were heading back to bingo. And I think probably 2 minutes after that text, everyone was already packed up and ready to go.
Did you guys shoot back back to bingo right away? You guys didn't stay the night and go. You guys left right away, probably.
Yeah, we just left right from Laval.
Yeah, okay.
So, yeah, it wasn't too bad.
So you didn't get a day off in Laval and then travel the next day, and you guys all went out that night in Laval, like nothing like that?
It was brutal. We actually had a rookie party the next night in Laval.
Oh, no way.
So I mean, I guess it wasn't brutal for me because I didn't have to pay the $1,000, but yeah, so I saved that way. But I'll just have to do it next year, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. So the rookies missed out on their rookie party then basically by 24 hours. They missed out on it.
We essentially had it on the bus.
Yeah, we pretty much had the bus.
It's all right. You snuck it in there. You snuck it in there. And then how long were you guys stuck in bingo?
It's postponed.
It's postponed. Yeah, exactly. How long were you guys stuck in bingo for then, Whitey? Like, when you guys got back from Laval, were you guys there for, like, I know Hershey they weren't allowed to leave for, I think it was a week or two maybe, until they were allowed to, like.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Were you guys allowed to leave pretty quickly after you got back, or?
No, so we were told just to, like, stay put. I think we got back Thursday, it would have been, and then I think it was probably like 5 or 6 days after that we were told like we're allowed to go home if we want to. Yeah, and then pretty much from there I think it was sort of like just pack as much as you can from your apartment. We had a lot of stuff to clear out actually. We had like couches, we had to sell a TV real quick, chairs, like a dinner table, like dining room chairs, like you name it, we had to throw it out, like mattresses. Like kind of funny story actually, we were all like throwing it out in the dumpster because like we don't have time to sell it, like we have to get back to Canada as soon as possible. Anyways, me and Seney are like lugging shit down to the dumpster, and we're just throwing anything and everything in there. And then we're finally done, like headed back up to our unit, and we get a text from like the lady like who like runs the building. She goes, "You can't put anything in the dumpster." So, like all of our stuff's in there now. Like we didn't. Yeah, it's like we're not going to go digging for our stuff in the dumpster, and then we just said, we'll leave it. We'll soak the fine or whatever for like leaving stuff in your room. But yeah, no, it was a pretty quick turnaround. Like we were just like scrambling, and then we waited a couple days, didn't do too much, and then started working out at like our apartment's gym. And then after the season was like postponed, we just started packing up and took off.
Yeah. So if the season's back on, like right now, like tomorrow, and you guys had to go back down, you'd have an empty apartment to go back to. Basically, you got nothing in there right now. Everything's in the in the dump.
Yeah, it's already gone. Last month, rent's already paid too, so
nice.
We're homeless.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Yeah, we're homeless.
Yeah. And how's it been kind of at home as far as like, I know this is crazy. Like if, obviously it looks like the season's probably not going to start. Hopefully it does at some small juncture, but probably not. Mm-hmm. How is it for you guys right now being able to get workouts in and stuff like that? Like, are you guys, still able to, have you guys been kind of training 3, 4, 5 days a week and trying to do something every day just to kind of keep fit and keep in shape? I'll start with you, Brett, like kind of being able to get out and do some workouts and stuff daily type thing.
Yeah. Whitey kind of mentioned it earlier. Mitch has been kind of posting those sweat at home workouts on the TPH website.
They're hard, eh?
I've been doing those. Like, so hard. Oh my gosh! I never thought body terrible. So tough. And,
I've been doing them too, and I'm like,
I was doing the backpack one.
Yes, that sucks. That one sucks.
Oh, the backpack one. That was. Yeah. So I've been doing those, and then those have been kind of good, just strength wise. In terms of keeping the strength on and that sort of thing. And then been doing a lot of runs too, trying to stay, cardio wise that way. And it's nice having Joe home. He's actually a better athlete now than he was when he was playing hockey too. So he's been doing the runs with me. And, but yeah, I'm thinking about actually getting a spin bike.
Yeah.
And just kind of set that up here. Just probably a little easier on the joints and kind of running every day. It's better to probably ride the bike there. So I'm thinking about doing that. And then also our team offers like a yoga 2 or 3 times a week too. So we're doing a lot of that and doing that every week. And it's actually been good. Like I've been working on kind of my flexibility and staying loose in that sense. It's kind of something that, I haven't really focused on as much as maybe I should, is staying flexible and and stretching more. So that's kind of something I've taken advantage of throughout the break too.
Oh, that's good, man. What about you, Whitey? Have you been able to kind of get out a little bit? Same idea with the workouts at home and stuff?
Yeah, no, I think when I first got home, I took probably a week off just to sort of settle down and just relax and sort of just chill out for a bit. And then I started texting Mitch, and then he started posting the workouts. And then other than that, just been going for runs. Try to go every other day or 3 times a week just to run and keep the cardio up. But other than that, I think it's just it's an opportunity to do other stuff that you don't normally do. Like Brett said, he's doing the yoga. I'm doing Zach's mobility stuff and really focusing on that. Just because I think it's a time where you have so much time to do stuff you don't actually normally do.
For sure.
I've been reading a lot, just hanging out. Been listening to a lot of podcasts and just trying to learn about different stuff, because I think this time we don't get to just hang out all day. There's nothing else to do, so why not learn something? Maybe pick up a guitar. I don't know. There's so many options for people to do. Do a puzzle or something just to keep your brain occupied. And I think just playing board games with your family or cards, going for walks. Our family goes for a nightly walk. Right after dinner, we clean up and then we'll go for a walk together.
That's awesome.
20, 40 minutes just to get outside and get some fresh air. Because I think if you're cooped up inside all day, it's probably not the best, but I think also got to be safe in a sense of social distancing and keeping safe and doing that sort of precautionary stuff. But yeah, no, I think you got to find ways to just sort of do what helps you and keeps you in a positive mindset. Because I feel if you're being negative about it and saying, "Oh, I'm bored, this is terrible," you're just going to be miserable and not enjoy it. So just trying to find ways. It was my first Easter at home in 7 years that we just had this past weekend. So it was great. I haven't been home for a Thanksgiving or anything. So it was cool to experience that again and just be around my parents and my brother for dinner. It was great.
Oh, yeah. It's those little things, right? You kind of not take for granted, but you don't realize, how much they mean or how important they are. And even doing walks after dinner, it's awesome. Just any kind of family stuff is great. Is it weird for you guys now though to be kind of like normal human beings? Because during the season, you don't really worry probably a lot about what you eat, or, you guys all eat well, don't get me wrong, but if you want to crush a Big Mac or you want to have some fries, it's not a big deal. You're going to be on the ice tomorrow, the next day, games, workouts, where now it's should I have that extra beer or not? Because those are calories that are going to be pumping in my body. You're like I am now. You're like an old guy now, watching what you eat, watching what you intake, and having your one or maybe one workout a day, So it is probably a little bit different for both you guys as far as just your whole daily routine's messed up, where you're not, I'm sure you guys are active, don't get me wrong, but you're kind of forced to be super active when you're playing pro hockey. You're at the gym, you're at the rink for 3-4 hours. You're doing a good 2-3 hours of activity every day. You know what I mean? So has that been a little bit weird as far as just watching what you're eating? You're not, mowing down on Easter chocolates and maybe having a couple, extra beers at dinner. Seney, have you had any trouble with that, or you've been pretty good at just kind of throwing it away and keeping it on your mind?
I'm trying to stick to kind of the same routine as during the summer, try to stay pretty good with it during the week instead of, not having beers too often, except on maybe the weekends or Friday. But no, it's not necessarily, it's more how to get rid of it, during the season, if you have a couple beers, you can go take a steamer, during practice, just sweat it out. But now, the only time you can sweat it out is kind of doing a home workout or going for a run. And I hate working out, you feel a hungover or whatever too. So
yeah,
I've actually been pretty good with it. With Joe and some buddies on Zoom, maybe we've had a couple of beers, but no, it's been pretty good. My parents are, they eat pretty healthy too. So I'm probably actually eating more healthy now than I do during the season.
That's great. Because you have better roommates now than you did during the season. That's why. What about you?
Well, yeah, Whitey made me look back because he'd always cook, and I was always eating out during
the season. How's the home cooking, Whitey? Everything been pretty good? Have you the extra desserts every night kicking in yet, or you've been pretty good with pushing away from it?
It's been okay. It's not as I mean, I've indulged in the sweets a little less than during the season, obviously, just because you're not burning as many calories with regards to like practice or games or anything. But no, I've kept it pretty tight. I think on Saturdays, we'll call them fatter days, just have a little cheat day. Just got to enjoy it. Have some pizza or some burgers, and I don't know, just whatever. I love sweets and stuff, and ice cream. Seems knows that. But other than that, just having some wine nights too with the family or the girlfriend. Just sort of doing that thing, just to sort of have some fun with it too. You can't take it too serious, but you also got to dial it in too.
Oh, for sure. Definitely. The other thing I was going to ask, I know both you guys are, Whitey, you mentioned your girlfriend. Now, was she living with you this year? And is she living with you now then through all this stuff?
No. She's actually in her, not yet. She's living at like a student place she rents. She's actually starting like tomorrow at the hospital for nursing, so we won't be able to hang out too much.
Yeah.
Just she's starting her nursing job, so that's taken off. And then other than that, we've hung out quite a bit just because she's been off up until now. And then she starts tomorrow, so she'll be kind exciting for her, but also like it's scary times for all the frontline workers and stuff. But she won't be on like the COVID floor, because I think there's like a floor in general that's like strictly like COVID patients, obviously. So she won't be on that floor, but I think she's working like the cardio or the cardio surgery unit. So she'll be busy for sure. Yeah,
definitely. It's always tough too, right? When my wife works at the hospital as well, so she still goes in, and it's, even with friends and stuff, we're kind of like the couple that no one wants to really hang out with, because my wife's on the front line. And not that we've been hanging out with anybody, but it's different. Like even games night, we've had a couple games nights online with friends, and just everyone kind of sharing like on Zoom call or on FaceTime or whatever. And so you kind of make it work, right? Mm-hmm. You kind of figure out how to make it work. And what about you, Seney? Have you guys kind of just been laying low? I know that last time we spoke, you did have a girlfriend. I could be putting my foot in my mouth right now by asking this question, but do you have a girlfriend right now?
Yeah, I still got the same girlfriend.
Okay.
I've had up there, so she's actually in the PA program at Seton Hall in New Jersey.
Okay.
So they closed the school down, but it's all online now. So she actually told me that she's more busy now, just because a lot of it kind of they have to learn themselves, and they don't have kind of that physical connection with the professor where they can kind of see firsthand kind of what they're learning. So no, she's been busy, and obviously being in New Jersey, it's kind of the eye of the storm down there with New York. So she's being extra cautious and hasn't really left her apartment too much, other than kind of heading back to Boston. So I think she's got about a month left, and then she'll head home.
Okay, that's all right. Yeah, it's tough for all these students, right? When they're, especially ones that, we always talk about the ones that are graduating or just finishing up, and it's a tough way to kind of finish your high school, college, master's, whatever you're doing. It's a tough one for sure. And learning online is always a grind too, like especially if you'd rather go to class than having to do everything online and scheduling your own time to do work. It's always a tough one for sure.
Yeah. I did quite a few classes online at Merrimack. I loved it.
Did you like it? Yeah.
You can kind of do it whenever you want. I mean, some of the classes I took weren't the most challenging, but but I don't know. I kind of breezed through it as much as I could, and then kind of take care of it quick, and then didn't have to worry about it. Because the assignments, most of the assignments you kind of do at your own pace, and that sort of thing. I guess maybe that was just the types of classes I was taking, but
no deadlines, just whatever you want, just hand them in. Doesn't matter. Yeah. Good luck tonight in your hockey game. Go Merrimack, go. Well, listen, boys, I appreciate this, man. This has been it's been great. I'm glad you guys are both doing well, and obviously families are safe and you guys are safe. What do you guys think here? A little bit of I'll ask you a couple quick little rapid fires. So I'll start with you, Whitey. Do you guys think that you guys will be back to playing this year or no? Do you guys think it's kind of done, or do you think that they'll try to salvage some of the season?
I'm optimistic, but I'll have to go with no.
Yeah, it's a tough one, eh? I kind of agree with you on that one for sure. And Seney, if they did resume the season, or actually no, let's say they didn't. Let's say this never happened, and we're just going to roll through it. Did you have a team or a pick for who's going to win the Stanley Cup this year? Do you think one team aside from Jersey? I know they're probably going to be in the finals, but who else aside from them? Who else would had a good shot?
I'm thinking. I think Boston might have had it this year if the season had continued.
Yeah.
I mean, I like the way they play, and playing them last year, I remember how tough they were to play against. So they're probably my pick.
Yeah, they're solid, man. They've been solid for quite a few years too. They got a good core there for sure. What about you, Whitey? Who's your team for the Cup? If none of this had happened, just rolled through normally.
I'd have to go with St. Louis.
Wow, back to back,
Yeah.
eh?
Yeah, back to back.
All
Yeah,
right.
just like Pittsburgh back in 16, 17. Yeah, I'm biased because I played against them. So, and I thought they were amazing, like just on another level.
Yeah.
I'd stick with them for sure.
Cool. All right, Seney, one more for you here. What any good things that you're into right now? Like, did you pick up online gambling, or are you into any good shows? You got anything that's kind of helping you pass the time? Have you finished Netflix yet? Or you done that whole series with every series on Netflix? But no, is there anything kind of fun that you've been doing to kind of pass the time at all?
Yeah, I was kind of watching Netflix when I first got home, but I felt kind of like a slug just sitting there. And the shows, they hook you in there. They get you. When you watch one, you got to watch like 6. So,
Totally.
I've been trying to stay away from it, but I've been doing a little reading too. Joe's a big reader, so he's been kind of giving me some books that he thinks I would like, and then also I was looking today. I might try to get my boating license at some point.
Oh, nice.
During this break, just because we're thinking about getting a cottage as a family. So, and if you end up getting a boat, it would be nice to kind of rip around in it. So, yeah, that's something I'm looking into.
Yeah, you're thinking more. I know exactly what you're thinking. I can picture it right now. You're thinking you on a boat with Joey behind you, with no shirts on, just reeling around, sunglasses on, waving. Hey guys, how's it going? Eh? That's more what you're thinking right there.
Exactly.
Yeah.
that's the dream right there.
Yeah.
Hanging out in Grand Bend.
Yeah.
Right on the strip.
Oh yeah.
We'll have Whitey hanging off the back on a tube. We'll be flipping him through the waves.
Yeah. Perfect. What about you, Whitey? Anything that you kind of picked up aside from reading? Like any good shows you're into, or anything like that?
One show I crushed was Ozarks. Actually,
I love it.
There's 3 seasons and
great.
Wiped it out. Yeah, no, I thought it was fantastic. I wasn't a fan of like Jason Bateman's movies or shows usually, but something about him, I'm a big fan of him now.
And
for sure.
It's funny you say that.
Yeah.
I was the same. I didn't like him, and then I started watching that show, and I fell in love with him. I think he's hilarious. I love him now. He's like,
yeah, he's amazing.
Yeah.
I couldn't stand him before. I don't know what it was. I think just the roles he was in, I wasn't a fan, and then Ozarks turned it around for me. Now I can't get enough.
Yeah, no, for sure. Okay, give me one more. So Ozark, what else you got? Give me something else I can crush.
HBO. Game of Thrones.
Whitey.
No, we'll go to Whitey.
Nice.
Game of Thrones. Seney got me onto that during the year. It's on HBO. Yeah, we were crushing it at the end of the year. We just come home from practice, have some lunch, and then just hang out on the couch for like 6 hours straight.
That's awesome.
Seney would be like trying to fall asleep on the couch. He'd be like this. He's crazy.
Yeah,
big time
checking in on me. You don't want me to fall asleep.
Giving you the elbow, just like,
I'd
hey.
peek over at him, and he'd be like this.
Yeah. Love it.
I try to cover my
So
face
funny.
so he couldn't see it, but he always freaking sniped me.
That's the best. That's just a good roommate. Doesn't want you to miss anything. You know, he wants you to stay on top of it. Doesn't want you to miss any good parts.
Oh no, I've already seen it. I've already gone through it twice. That was my 3rd time going through it.
Oh, never mind.
I just wanted somebody to watch it with.
Yeah. Maybe he was scared. Maybe it was a scary part. He wanted you to stay up for him. All right, boys. Well, hey, thanks a lot, man. I really appreciate it. I guess last thing for both of you guys, I'll go to Seney. Has this kind of been the longest time that you've gone without being on your skates? Like as far as, look at a stretch from like, back in minor hockey, but it's probably been over a month now, or close to, I guess. How has it been? Are you guys kind of going in withdrawal a little bit, or has it been something that you guys have thought about, or just kind of pounding through this and going through it?
Yeah. Other than kind of when I hurt my shoulder,
Right.
junior year of college, this is definitely the longest time I've been off. So, but yeah, like I got like a net in the basement and kind of in the back room with some pots and stuff. So, every now and then I'll go in there and shoot or stick in. I'll just do something to kind of keep my mind occupied in that sense. But no, it was kind of at the beginning. It was kind of nice the first week to kind of let the body, rest and heal and kind of take your mind off things and enjoy time with family. But now it's, you obviously get that itch, and especially, even just watching TV. I think I was watching like the 2013 Stanley Cup Finals, and I was getting like juiced just watching it when Dave Bolin scored that goal with like 50 seconds left. And that was when I was like, holy shit, like we got to get played again. I'm celebrating like 2013 Stanley Cup goal that I had like no influence on whatsoever. So no, yeah, it definitely came back pretty quick.
Yeah, no, for sure. What about you, Whitey? You've been having withdrawal a little bit?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, usually whenever I come back, I try to take like 2 weeks off of doing nothing and stuff. And I'm usually pretty eager to get it back onto the ice. And this is by far the longest I've like been off the ice. I think it's at a month now. So yeah, no, it's, I'm just itching to like go do something. I went rollerblading the other day and I was like, didn't even know how to rollerblade anymore. It was like, felt so foreign to me. Like, yeah, just, it's not only that, it's just missing like being around the guys. Like even like in the summertime, you're around like all the guys at the gym, you're interacting with a bunch of your buddies and this, like the coaches like you and Mitch and Josh and Trev and that, like, it's just a fun atmosphere. And I think that's probably the biggest thing that I miss the most is just being around, some of the best people, and just having a good time and enjoying like just, the company you're in, and everyone's trying to get better and also having a good time and bonding with your buddies in the gym, and then hanging out too, like going golfing with Seney or Gaber and Murph. I think that's just like some of the stuff you miss and not take for granted, but you just get excited for it now because you haven't been able to like do that in a while. So.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, no, definitely, man. And hopefully sooner rather than later, we can all get back at it and get back on the ice, obviously, and even be able to give each other fist pumps and hug it out, after a big goal and stuff like that. It'd be nice. It'd be fun. All right, boys. Hey, thanks a lot, man. I appreciate your time. And I know you guys are super busy, so it's nice that you guys carve out an hour for the boys here. This is great. All right. Thanks a lot, boys. To kind of raise that bar.
That extra gear, the first 3 steps.
Huge strides in the performance.
That I might not be the player I am today.